Welcome, test takers. I'm Greg from GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. So this is part 3 of a series we're doing here on LCM. So the first part we covered a lot of topics. The second part we covered some pathological scenarios, as well as some kind of general guidelines to kind of follow to figure out when you have a word problem, kind of which way to use or not. And this basically going to end us up with 2 examples. One is kind of a conglomeration of everything we've said, and the other is going to throw a whammy at you guys. All right, let's just jump into this. I'm going to continue on exactly where we left off before. So I'm going to give you guys another example. So here's our example. I tried to make it wordy on purpose to try to kind of just throw some stuff out there, just so you're getting distracted, and it's just going to focus so you can get the focus on the math. So, due to congestion, a small bridge allows pedestrians first access. That means pedestrians are normally allowed to use the bridge. A traffic light allows cars over the bridge every 5 minutes by illuminating a lit-up car in green. Otherwise, this indicator is lit red and cars can't go. So again, normally pedestrians can go. Every 5 minutes, a traffic light lights up in green with a car on it, which is telling the cars they can go. When it's not the case, it turns red. Okay? We're not going to get into how long does the light stay on and all this other kind of stuff like this. Similarly, every 15 minutes, trucks are only allowed every 15 minutes via lit up green, a truck light in green. Otherwise, that indicator is lit up red and trucks can't go. So, both lights just lit up green, which means trucks and cars can go at the same time. So commencing then, which is now, how many times can both trucks and cars go on the bridge in an hour? Okay? So think it through. We have a couple of things that should leap out at you in consideration of the previous thing. It's talking about every X minutes. Cars can go every 5 minutes. Trucks can go every 15 minutes. It's also talking about both lights being lit at the same time. All right? So that should give us an indication, because it's repeating. Multiples repeat. It's repeating. It keeps going every X minutes. So because it's repeating and multiples repeat, okay, a lot of stuff repeats, but multiples definitely repeat. So we're going to use the LCM. And all we're going to basically do is get the LCM of 5 and 15. So both lights light up together every 15 minutes. All right? That's not what the question is. The question is, how many times commencing then, or now in that case, how many times can both trucks and cars go on the bridge in an hour? All right? Well, an hour is 60 minutes. Okay? So what you're going to do is divide it by 15, and then you can get 4 times. There's a problem with that answer, though. Now we're past the LCM part of it. But this is why word problems get hard, because I made it wordy on purpose. So if you could rip through the words and get the LCM part, and you always have to watch out if there's another requirement of the problem. The other requirement is that it's now. So you have to add 1 more. So it's 5 times. All right? So this can be a SHSAT question. This can be an SAT question. This can be an ISEE question. This can be an SSAT question. This can be a Hunter College High School question. This can be a PSAT question. This can be a test for getting into Baccalaureate or Beacon or Bard. Okay? This can be a question for getting into the Boston exam schools. This can be a question for getting in Thomas Jefferson in Virginia, the specialized high school there. Okay? This can be a question for any of the Bergen County Academies schools in northern New Jersey, northeast New Jersey. Plus any other kind of thing like this. It could even be in some of your state tests. all right? Especially as you get in older years. So be careful. So first of all, you have to divide this. This is LCM. Get the right answer for the LCM, and then answer the question that you're being asked here. And by the way, it's similar to what we had up here. If this was a show your work problem, the last problem we did at the end of the other thing, a lot of kids would just show the work for how many sessions will I have? But there's a second question here that's asking something else. You have to go through and answer all questions. What I like to do is once I get through with the word problem, and not only do I like to feed the answer back into the question, but I just like to go through it one last time and make sure I caught every fact and given they told us, make sure I use the equation right, and make sure I'm answering every single question they gave us. And by the way, remember that it may have said, let's say this was the only question here, and the thing after says, explain your answer. That's another question. It's not a question with a question mark, but they're asking something of you. With the one with the question, they're asking you to answer the question with a numerical answer. Explain whatever is they're asking you to explain it in words now. So they're both questions they're asking you. They may not be in question form, but you're still being asked to do two things. So even if your argument is not literally a question, well, in any event, they're still asking for you to give two answers. Whatever the heck you call it, they're still asking for two answers. Okay? So now here's the whammy one. So you want to do enough of these problems that you're comfortable doing LCM, that you're comfortable doing GCF, and you're just kind of comfortable knowing which one you need to use in a word problem. And because I don't want you guys to memorize, even though I gave stuff like this here, I don't want you memorizing these things. Because then you go, although it's good to have mental checklists and follow rules, there's a point where you have to be mathematically astute enough that it just leaps out at you. And you need to keep practicing problems till you get there. That's one reason why I beat this to death a little bit by having this in 3 parts and kind of explaining this kind of at length. Because there's a lot of stuff here. So here's an example where the rules like this here, they don't work. They don't work. So let me give it to you. And again, in any of my videos, you can stop the video at any point and try to solve the problems yourself. Okay, you don't have to wait to see what my answer is. So here's the question. It's nice and it's short. It says, find the greatest number of 2 digits, which is exactly divisible by 3 and 6. So this doesn't work because it's confusing. So in other words, it uses greatest and it uses divisible, but it's not an LCM problem. Okay? So don't get caught up in all this kind of stuff. Because divisible here doesn't apply as a GCF because it's already telling us we already know something. Okay? It's using the word in a different context. And that's why trying to follow things, and I have the same problem when I tutor kids in elementary school. The teacher gives them a list of words so they know whether to use multiplication or addition. And the problem is it doesn't work. It depends how the question's worded. If the question's worded the way the teacher gave them that list, then it'll work. But there's always a way to put a spin on these questions where then you're led astray. And instead of trying to understand what's happening in the problem and understand the math, you're trying to follow policies and procedures. And you get bent out of shape. Okay? So when it talks about the greatest thing here, it's talking about once I get the answer. I didn't get the answer yet. Okay? This is a multi-step word problem. So it's talking about the greatest once I get the first step done with. If I can't get the LCM of 3 and 6, I can't figure out which is the greatest number that they're asking for here. So the greater part doesn't talk about the divisibility with the 3 and 6. It talks about once you've obtained that. Okay? So this is why you can't use these things. They're only as guidelines. They're only for tapping into the stuff. Otherwise, you have to go on autopilot. You need to have the mastery, so the force needs to be with you. Okay? Become one with the damn thing. Okay, so we're going to get, so first of all, we're going to see, we're going to get the LCM of 3 and 6. And when he gets 6. So they're asking, what is the greatest number, a number with 2 digits, that's exactly divisible by 3 and 99? So we determined that whatever that 2-digit number is, it has to be divisible by 6. So now we're totally somewhere else. We're in outer space. We went to left field instantaneously. We solved the GCF and the LCM problem by using LCM. So now that we have the LCM results, we have to go to the next step of the problem, which may or may not have anything to do with the LCM and GCF. In this case, it doesn't. So we know it has to be a 2-digit number that's divisible by 6. So now I'm in a whole other branch of math. How do we do that? Well, the way I would do it is I would say the largest 2-digit number is 99, and then divide 99 by 6. Okay? And we get 16.5. So because we can only do whole numbers, then we're going to say 6 goes into 99 16 times. So if we multiply 16 times 6, which is really what it's asking us for, we're going backwards on the factors here. We're going to get 96, and 96 is the answer. Okay, and don't get confused, because I use 99 in a lot of my problems just because I think it's a cool, awesome, magic number just to use in a lot of problems. This I really am using 99 because it's the largest 2-digit number. Right? If we go add one more and 100, that's a 3-digit number. All right? And we could also solve this if it asked for a range. So there you go, you get 96. So that's the answer to this question. So you have to feel it out organically. Feel out the problem organically. Figure out what it's asking you to do and not asking you to do, instead of just following robotics. All right, I am done. I'm going to catch my breath and continue on with my day. This is a lot of deets. Again, I'm Greg at GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. Please email me. You guys have questions. I was going to eventually cover greatest common factor and least common multiple anyway, but one of my subscribers asked me to talk about it, and here I am. There's lots of topics to do and beat to death. LCM and GCF is one of the easier ones. Some of them, even the harder ones, don't always require all this work, so it depends what you're doing, not doing, whatever. All right, so peace out, everybody. Have a great day.